just dwell on them. They're just deeply religious, you know. I mean, particularly, I mean, I would say Roy Charles' dream is more has to do with himself personally, somewhat, but it's also a religious dream. And then Dawn's is amazing if we go back over it. But I just wanted to kind of review a little bit of Roy and Charles' dream first, and then we'll go on to Dawn's because it's going to take a while to go through it and unpack it. But it's beautiful, Dawn. You know, the thing is, it's a great dream. It's a dream about the universe, really. I mean, it's her Dawn's dream. But anyway, I just wanted to just point out a few things in Roy's dream that occurred to me. You know, just to starting out, I can put it in the chat, but you know, standing in a creek near my old home place. So the dream ego's standpoint is in the unconscious to begin with. In what would normally be the flow of life, the water of life, you know, that thing that moistens dryness. And it's also water is not something that can be separated, you know, it's whole, you know, it's indivisible, you know, it's just really always stays together no matter what happens. Now the animals are around, so the instincts are near the standpoint in the unconscious. Standing in the creek, our standpoint is in the unconscious. Okay, and it's near to the departure point, the point of where everything began, you know. And now we're standing below a small waterfall, so we're in the lowest point of that section of the creek. You know, we're in the depths of the home place. You know, we're in a low place, and the whole place is low. Now the water is polluted. So the stream of life, even at the beginning, even at the departure point, where, and now, of course, it's not when we were young, but we're back at the departure point. And the stream of life, the water of life, that thing which you know, brings revivification, is soulless. It's full of, it's been contaminated irreversibly by the outer world. This stream, the one that comes from the home place, you know, and I think it's not in every stream because we talk about that later. But so the outer world, so even though we seek soul at the home place, right now there's no soul there because it's been too contaminated by the outer world. Now, it has something to do with the home place, okay? The water that comes from the home place has a soulless quality. Now, that's not bad, but it's irreversible, you know? Now, I think, or the dream ego thinks, some people move to live near water that is not polluted, but I choose to live in the place I am where the water is polluted. So some must live where the stream of life runs pure and filled with soul substance, but I choose to live in the home place, the place of my old home place, where it's right now seems to be devoid of soul. Yet it's not completely bad because we, in this standpoint, in the water of life that's near the home place and standing in it, and the fact that it's too contaminated by the outer world now to ever be clean again or ever be what it was when we were young, let's put it that way. The dog, the family dog, is, hi Gary, we're just kind of reviewing Roy's dream. The family dog who is sinking in a pool near the waterfall, near the lowest place. So in the lowest place, in the soulless stream, the instincts, the body are sinking into the soulless realm. This is probably why we're there, because we are going to pull it out. If we hadn't been there, the instincts, the would have sunk down into the soulless place. We were there to rescue it. So ego pulls it out, and then the aspect of the there is a more living aspect, one of the growing black cat, one that's related to the pagan realms, very feral, yet it seems to be somewhat of a new beginning. Seems to also be the anima aspect in us. It's a feminine aspect, very feral, very. That Jung says the difference between eros and anima is eros is immediate and it wants the relationship now, where anima is aloof and we must chase her. We have to follow her. We have to somehow through clever means establish a relationship with her. But anyway, let me see if I can. I think I lost my place here. All right, let's see if I can find it. Come on, Craigie. All right, how are you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good. Could you post
Yes, I'm
Corey's
going to.
thing?
I'm going to post it here in just a second. Let me see if I first. I got to get in the. Oh well, maybe I can do it over here. Let's see. I think I can do it over here. Let's see. I always have trouble bringing it up. I also on this computer for some reason it never wants to bring anything up. Okay, here it did come up. So I don't need this that much. All right. Okay. We want to definitely have time for Dawn stream, but I just thought we'd kind of review it because I mean you know something. I'm just saying that the longer I spend on it seems like the next day the religious aspect of the dream comes through. I mean, it dwells on you and you realize how miraculous it is. Okay, I'm going to put this in here.
I've got a question. So,
Yeah.
if instinct sinks into the realm of the soul, would that mean like it would become inactive? I mean, what would that mean?
Well, it's very similar to the snake eating the hamster. You know, I mean, it's just it's lost to consciousness. Okay,
Mm.
and it's sinking into this. So first of all, I think it's very important that this is that the at the old home place. At the old home place, the stream of life that runs through the old home place has been ruined. It's been contaminated by the outer world, so it can really never feed us anymore. And yet, our standpoint is still there. It's in standing in the creek. That's our standpoint. Okay, why are we there? Because the instinctive aspect, this just gives me goosepimples. The instinctive aspect of us is sinking into this soulless stream, and we must be there to rescue it. And so then we pull it out, and this has been
Oh, that's
always
right, because that stream was polluted. So it wasn't the realm of the soul. It was soulless.
soulless because it's been contaminated by the outer
Mm.
world, I think. But remember too, it is the place of the at the old home place. So it isn't that all water is polluted. It's just water at the old home place. So now, then the black kitten. Oh, hi Tim. We're just. I thought we just review these dreams um, and then if you have a dream, why don't we do it? Let's try to split this time up. Do you have a dream, Gary?
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna kill you someday.
Yeah,
Well,
you and me both.
well, I know. I had this fabulous dream this morning where everybody is furiously cutting meat. It's on a Sunday. This meat market's closed. But and I said, are there this many customers for all this meat? You know, I was with my grandson one time. We were in Walmart, and and he was sort of, I think he's 9 years old. He was fascinated by the woman's underwear section. There's these bras everywhere, and going, 10 rows this way, 10 rows that way, up there. He says, are are there that many women? I mean, people who can wear bras in the city. But anyway, that was the dream I had this morning, and it was just, it stunned me. Okay, but anyway, the black kitten is struggling in the water. So we're rescuing the instinct, but we're also rescuing what appears to be a very pagan, just born anima aspect or feminine aspect in us that might be related to the fact that we save the instincts. But then comes the next part. Who is sitting on, after all of this happened, who is sitting on the bank? Instantly I recognize the great mother. So there's this aspect at the old home place. Scream is soulless, and we rescue the instinctive aspect, and we at least become conscious of a very feral feminine within us. Okay, so right at this point, if it ended there, it's not really that magical. But when you look on the bank and there's the great mother in the form of the rabbit, it's quite, it just totally puts this pretty much what I would call a Roy trademark onto the dream. Do you have any comments about it, Charles? I just wanted to review it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything additional at the moment.
Okay, how about you, Gary?
Well, this is going to be on the fly. But, I'm just going to look at the animal aspect, and I have no idea what I'm even going to say. But, the dogs are very instinctive, they just respond and they're off and running. And so, you could easily see a dog with its instinct getting into trouble in a river that was polluted. And then we have the kitten, and they're observers, they're stalkers, even at a really young age. And then we have the rabbit, and the rabbit is, what is the rabbit? But it's like,
it's the fecund or the fertile.
Oh yeah, it really
aspect.
is. Oh, and that makes sense with it going with the great mother. So I don't know. I was just kind of fascinated that, we have this set of three animals, all of which represent like these different aspects.
Yeah, this is something that has really come over me lately. It's just the aspect that everything that we're doing has to do with life itself. Is this many consciousnesses or just one? The grackles, the ants, the bees, the muskox forming patterns, the fish who swim in the circle, and I guess that one is this one, I don't know why I put that one in there, but this guy here, you know, everybody's saluting the Fuhrer except him. You know, I don't know what that meant, but anyway, it's just this the and you know, this is what my dreams about the meat are saying, you know, over and over again is that the life force. I mean, what do you need to do? You need to somehow get in touch with body in the world. You know, what do you think, Tim, about it? Do you have any more thoughts about it?
Well, the one thing that strikes me is I'm wondering if there's some kind of a connection with the progression of the animals. So I think of the dog as being the 20,000-year-old friend, and the cat as being the 10,000-year-old friend. And the rabbit is maybe a new consciousness about the Great Mother that civilization sort of kicked out the back door. So, you know, the dog is a hunting companion, and humanity was still really primitive and connected to the earth. And the agricultural people that valued the cat are kind of a transitional stage. And then civilization happens and nature just goes out the window. And so the Great Mother is that symbol that's trying to bring us back together. I don't know if that's a real connection or not.
Yeah, well, and she's very gentle, you know. She's a very gentle a rabbit is very gentle. And the other animals were well, the dog is the one that's closest to man. There is no one, and you were right, the second one would be the domestic cat. But anyway, it is the most gentle of the three and the only one that doesn't eat meat, you know. And you know, I'm always amazed by these images of the Great Mother, you know, because she is well, okay, you know, that was one thing that you know, I go into the realm of the Great Mother when I cross this river, and she is you know, is this, she's really a darkness. She really is a darkness, you know. She's let me see this one. I don't know if that one's gonna come up. And I don't think, but anyway, there were some images of the Great Mother. Well, what do you think, Roy? I mean, don't you think this dream is, well, first of all, there's no people in it other than you. And the only thing you discuss people who, yeah, now that's the other underlying theme. The underlying theme is the home place with the soulless stream. So the place of our home place doesn't really feed us anymore, but it can swallow the instinctive aspect of us. Even though it can't feed us, it can swallow the instinctive aspect of us, and we need to save it from that soulless aspect that it has, you know. And at that point, two things happen. One, the cat, well, first, before even that happens, we make the statement. Now, this is very important, and it is another independent factor that needs to be considered, is the dream ego says, some people choose to go where the water is not polluted. I choose to go to the home place, the old home place, where the water has been irreversibly polluted by really time in the outer world or something, you know, some aspect of our upbringing does not feed us anymore. Okay, and yet it can swallow up the instinctive aspect in it that needs to be taken out and rescued. So we're in a salvage operation, really. We're salvaging the instinctive from that soulless place, even though it was our childhood home. And but we choose to live there, or we choose not to break off our connection with the old home place. Other people whose old home place has been contaminated and polluted say, to hell with it. I'm not even gonna, I'm forgetting about it. I'm moving on. But
So-
in this case, yeah, go ahead.
I have another interpretation here. Suddenly this is starting to, you just kind of triggered it, but it's making a little more sense, because for us to really progress, the thing that we really have to deal with is we have to deal with our family history. We have to deal with our family complexes. Until we've gone into that and dealt with it, everything's just going to be just
Yes.
kind of BS. And so that the waters at the old home place are polluted. Well, of course they're polluted. That was the origination of all of our complexes, of all of our traumas. And that he chooses to stay where the water is polluted. You have to go where the
Yes.
wound is. You have to stay with the wound. Because if you don't stay with the wound, then you never heal it.
And I think this is why there is a reason, Roy, that you are studying Donald Kalsha. I mean, there is an aspect there that is a mystery that needs to be solved. So Gary, you hit the nail on the head. That's really is the important aspect there. Yeah, I'm saying wow too, Dawn. That's beautiful. So Roy, did you have any comments, Tim, or not? I mean, I thought you looked like you were about ready to say something.
No, I thought that was a really,
Yes, it was great, Gary. Beautiful. And
yeah.
it ties it together. I mean, that's why I said I didn't want to let this dream go, because there was just too much in there that I didn't think we mentioned. What do you think, Roy? Now, after what is it? What do you think?
Well, I didn't want to go to the realm of the mothers, and I feel like I escaped it. I got out of that predicament.
Mhm. Out of the
So-
Puer world, or the devouring mother, or
Well,
I
if
see
you
devouring
lose
means-
your instincts and your counter sexuality in the unconscious, you're in the realm of the mothers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the old witch, the one who devours us. I mean, basically, we are not. The most beautiful image of it was the barren moon, who has never borne any children, comes down and is about to snuff out the light of Charles, which is just leaving and going down. Now, I think Charles has moved on from that somewhat, but it is a great image of the devouring mother, one I'll never forget. And we're all subject to that. So anyway, I just didn't want to let this one go. It's too important. Well, let's quickly review Charles' dream, and then so we got. So we want to. Tim, did you have a dream that? Why don't we? We've got like let's see, 20, 40. We've got 70 minutes left, so let's spend about 5 minutes or so or 20 minutes on. We'll at least leave about 25 minutes at the end for your dream, but we do need to cover Dawn's dream, which is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it really is. If we look at it, I mean, now I wanted to just look at Charles' dream real quick, because I did type it out, and that sometimes we miss things. Let me see. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Okay. I know at some point. Okay, I know at some point it will meet up. Okay, there we go. Okay, we'll just spend a few minutes on this dream. Again, did you want to read it one more time, Charles?
Yeah, I can read it.
Yeah.
So I was taking the train to New Orleans, and I'm on the train. There's two other trains that are on tracks right by it. So there's three trains altogether, all moving the same direction at about the same speed, close enough for me to jump from one to the other. And there are doors open on them so that I can jump from one to the other. I start on the New Orleans train, and you know, jumping from one to the other, kind of just for the hell of it, for fun. And I get on a different train and ask, which one is this? And it's the Chicago train. So I jump to another train, and it's some other northern bound train, like to Michigan or Minnesota. And now the New Orleans train is all the way to the opposite side. And I get back on the Chicago train, and the track for the New Orleans train either veers off to the side, or it just shoots off really fast and leaves us. But either way, I was not able to get back onto that train before it just disappeared. Now I'm on the Chicago train, and it turns into a bus. And I know at some point it will meet back up with the New Orleans train. And I realize, okay, I just have to stay on this bus or train, and I'll meet back up with the New Orleans train again, and it'll be all right. But now the bus train stops, and I get off at the street corner, and I'm only outside for just a minute, and it just takes off without me, that breakneck speed. It's just gone. No chance for me to catch up with it. So now I'm stranded, and I get violently upset, very sad, very angry. And I'm like, why do I always do this? This is the reason why I don't have any friends and don't have any relationships. I just jump off when there's really no need to.
Yeah, no, this is just a very powerful dream. Now, remember, Charles, there's been maybe 4 dreams I can think of, maybe 3, where at the end there's a great expression of angst, of anxiety and sort of a hopelessness or desperation, and I haven't seen one for a while, but this has it, but it is a different character. Okay, now it's interesting that the dream maker picks up on this fact that we're going on a train to New Orleans. We've been on a few trains lately. We took one to Maine, and so we're kind of trained. We went up to Maine and came back to Maine on the train. Now we're going to go down on the train. And it's going to New Orleans, so it's going to a place of adventure, okay?
And
And
Charles, isn't that where your next job is?
Yeah, I'll be leaving on Monday.
I mean, it's amazing that the dream maker picked up on that. We're going on the train to New Orleans, so this is place of a new adventure. And really, I think, Charles, you just made a lot of progress over the last couple of years. I mean, this, regardless of the fact that there's still a tendency to jump off when there's really no need to. I think that versus maybe a year and a half ago, there's quite a change in the ability to stick through. And now there's 3 trains all close to one another. So there is a center train and one on the left and one on the right. So, it's almost like we're in the middle, and then we got the left and the right, or there's something in the middle, and then there's the unconscious train and the conscious train. And you know, we were started in the New Orleans train, but somehow we started jumping off when there's no need to, when we should have just focused and stayed in that other train. And why were we doing it? Just for fun. We didn't know. We're just having a good time. I mean, you know, it is fun if those trains are going exactly the same way. But the idea is that they're in sync. I mean, there's several possibilities that we can go to, but at some point, the possibilities are going to restrict ourselves. So if we haven't focused on one, then we're going to be trapped and cornered somewhere. And we're going to be trapped and cornered in the one that we know is the dead end, okay, the Chicago train. So, but even though we think, the dream says that it might meet up with the New Orleans train at some time. Okay, so there's been first of all, the New Orleans train shot off when we got off. It veered off, or just disappeared or something. Regardless, it's not available to us. Okay, so now we're on the Chicago train. It turns into a bus, stops at a stop, makes a stop. We get off on the street corner. It disappears. So the idea here is that if we don't make a decision and focus and stick to it, we're going to be stranded, and we're not going to have any. It's going to cut us off from friends, cut us off from relationships, and cut us off from any progress, really. So I think that it's sort of a warning dream that we need to pick one. You know, Young could have composed this dream. It says, I don't care which one you do, but pick one and don't give up on it. Just do it. You know, I mean, that's the aspect of really coming into the reality function. I mean, that's the whole idea. I think with me dreaming about meat all the time, I'm dreaming about the reality function. The fact that I need to stay in reality. You know, that I'm remember, Gary, what is the negative aspect of the third eye? Illusion. You know? Illusion. So you lose reality, and that's what the woman there. Give me her name again. I love her name. What is her name?
Oh, Jan Wong.
Yeah, DeWong Janice.
DeWong Janice.
The wrong Janice. But anyway, she says that the cure for the illusion is reality. Roy, what do you think? I mean, this just seems to me like an amazingly composed dream, if nothing else.
Yeah, it reminds me. I remember when I missed the bus, I was like in about the third grade, and I had to walk about 10 blocks to the bus stop. And I was about on time. I was about a block away. I could see the sign and all that. And then the bus comes barreling through. And of course, it didn't stop at the bus stop because nobody was there. I was about a block away. It wasn't paying attention to anybody anywhere except they had to be at the stop. So I'm this little kid, 8 years old or something, and I couldn't believe that it left me. And I stayed there, and it was about, my mom had left early to go shopping or something. She comes back and she sees me at the bus stop, and she got me. We went home, and I told her the bus left me. Of course, she didn't bite, and I never missed another bus. That really shook me up. And you know, it's kind of an anxiety dream, but I mean, this is how people wind up in the realm of the mothers. You know, life isn't fair. You have to learn from these setbacks, and don't blame yourself and say, okay, you know, I can do better. That's not going to happen to me again.
Yeah,
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. How about you, Gary?
Well, I think you both got, pretty much what the dream is about. I guess the one comment that I'll make is that the train changes into a bus. And so to me, it's almost got like this time factor. As time's going by, the commitment, the force is lessening, because the train is huge, it's massive, it's powerful, and so if that's on its way to a destination, there's no stopping it. A bus is like, a very different vehicle to say the least.
No
So
tracks.
yeah, no tracks, the destination isn't at all set. And, and there's not the power behind the commitment or whatever, so it's like, through this, it's like, first the jump between the commitments, and then the commitment lowers, and then he steps off of the commitment, onto the bus stop, which is, really a place of like all possible directions if you think about it. And
Yeah, and it
so
reminded me of that guy that has about 50 pairs of shoes that he carries with him everywhere.
yeah, right.
He doesn't have any one standpoint. He's got too many pairs of shoes.
Right. So, and I guess, I was, that job out east, that was a tough job, what, 60 plus hours a week, and, many months. And yet, it was sort of, it's like this almost might have been a comment on that as well. I think maybe like the dream, master was reflecting on that, where it was like you got almost to the very end and then left, because of like, people that you just didn't get along with. But
And now we've had, this will be the third job now that is a time limit, kind of a contract job, but I think that we're still each time what we're really doing is developing a wind. I think, don't you think, Charles, that you develop a very powerful set of lungs in Maine? I mean, you worked very long hours for many days a week without a lot of time off, and you coped with it pretty well. I mean, I think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just got me to actually to go to work and to realize it's, not so hard. And yeah, it just kind of was a good kind of kickstart to kind of just get things rolling.
Yeah, Dawn mentioned something that I thought of too. I mean, it was just that we were suddenly had chosen this side that's opposite from the real goal. We had, here's the real goal, and we had went over to all the opposite. So the real goal is on almost on the opposite side of consciousness now. And I don't think it has to do with the unconscious or the consciousness. I think it has to do with what Gary said, that just all of these options, but the goal that we're supposed to follow is now we're not in sync with it. I mean, in the dream, so I think what the dream is kind of saying that, we need to pick one, Tim, did you have any comments on it?
I'm thinking about the parallel tracks, and I'm really thinking about this as being a career thing. So you got these different options, and in the beginning, it doesn't matter which one you're on, so you can jump between them. And I keep thinking about this adage that recurs in my life, that if you're on the wrong train, every station you come to is the wrong station. This inevitable aspect of the train that it's so powerful and it's so direct when it is the right train. And if it's the wrong train, man, you have such difficulty, getting back on the right pathway. And so I'm still struggling with what the bus is about, because that kind of indicates that, man, if you get on that bus, you can go anywhere you want. It doesn't matter.
Kind of like the caravan. He wanted to convert his car into a caravan so he could be more like his father in one dream. And I think Gary said, suddenly there's no tracks. There's not a predetermined destination. Like you said, Tim, the bus can go anywhere. So we've lost that predetermined. And I like your deal about the parallel track. That's something that's said in careers all the time. We were on parallel tracks. I mean, it's something that you say quite a bit.
So it seems like that there's a certain amount of energy in that bus. So I think it'd be fruitful to do some active imagination about what is that bus, and what does that allow you? Because it feels to me like freedom. Once you get on the bus, man, you can kind of call your own shots. And maybe it's not as dramatic as I'm making it sound, because a bus has its own route if it's a commercial bus. But it seems like the dreamer is making a distinction between those things.
Yeah. What do you think about the end of the dream, Charles? I mean, this is sort of a very conscious statement, somewhat like the one in the where the moon was going to extinguish the sun. But this one is more practical, where that one was more that our light was going to be extinguished, the light of ego. Now we're talking about the feeling function, relationships and the friends. So this that first one was more of developing a persona, developing having a pairs, some suits. We need more suits, but in this case, it has to do with the feeling function. What jumping off too quickly when it's not necessary is also injuring the feeling function, that eros aspect within us of relatedness. Because now you said in the past that people, they seemed like wolves. Now, do you feel that way today too, or was that just in Maine?
I don't know. It's kind of complicated because it's, I don't know. It is a way in which I can feel about people in general, or maybe really more accurately, that I feel myself to just be an easy target, and in turn it makes me like not trust people.
Yeah. Although you're in
feel
demand,
vulnerable.
like you've never been in demand before, and there's a lot of people that would like you to be. They want you to help them, and they want you to be their employee. So, I mean, I just say this. If I had told you this like maybe a year ago that these possibilities were going to come up, and anyway, I would say what is happening is the problems are becoming less abstract, less spooky, and they're becoming more practical. If we don't jump off all the time when it's not necessary, we realize that then we can have friends and possibly feminine companionship. You know. Do you have any other comments about it, Charles? Because it's
Yeah,
just it's such a
something that
well
just
written.
occurred to me was I don't know why I didn't see the significance of the train and the bus just like zoom, just like taking off. It means like things are moving so much faster now. I can't just run and catch up with this because I'm not 20, I'm not 16.
There you go. Time's going fast. The opportunities just boom, they're gone. You know, and then you're stranded. So that is an aspect of that. If you don't, these opportunities are going to just go like that. If we don't somehow, just make it happen. You know, be in sync with them or whatever. Yeah, I know there's a better way to put it. I just can't think of it. Well, anyway, that's a very well written dream. I mean, well composed. Well, let's spend about 25 minutes on Dawn's dream, and 25 minutes on Tim's dream if he has one. Okay. All right. Now this is Dawn's dream, and let's see. Tim, do you want to read her dream or?
Sure. Okay, this is about 3 days ago. Flying like E.T. That must be the title, huh?
Yeah.
There's a guy shaving soap the way you grate cheese. It's taking a lot of time and effort, and he's starting to sweat. He's doing all this because this is how he takes a picture. I see an image that is like the picture that goes with the movie E.T., a boy on his bike in front of the moon. Words go with the image, and they are flying between two bridges. After waking, I had trouble remembering this because to me the opposite is what makes sense, traveling a bridge between two places instead of flying between two bridges, right? Next time, I felt like I was related to the bike in front of the moon image. Is that what that means? The second was of two socks, with one being folded into another. My dad comes and asks me what I have to drink. I struggle to think, as my mind is barely able to think in a dream. I managed to come up with fragments, just blurting out strawberry cheese or strawberry tea lemonade juice. Then he asked why I wear headphones all the time. Again, I struggle to think of an answer. Now I'm starting to wake and my mind is asking me what I did all day.
Before. Is that all it was? Yeah. Before. Yeah. Okay. I didn't get the whole thing in there. Let me put the rest of it in there. Let's see here. Okay. There we go. Oh, wait. I don't know what I did. Just let me try it one more time.
Is there more?
Well, yeah, it's just the end of it is this. Again, he asked me why I tried to wear headphones all the time. Again, I struggle to think of an answer. I'm starting to wake and my mind is asking me what I did all day the day before. I realized I had been cleaning, but it wasn't an easy answer to come to me. Yeah, let me see if I get that. Yeah, I think I just copied the thing again. Okay, now, anyway, let's, now, this dream is very profound, I think. Now, let's start with the first part. Someone has a bar of soap, okay? And they are taking, it's like, say, a big old bar of ivory soap. Is that what it was, Dawn? Just a great big bar of soap? You know, say like an ivory soap bar or something like that. But anyway,
yeah, my husband My husband used to make his own soap, and that's what he would do. He had, I don't know, it wasn't, he had something he would start with when he was making the soap, and that's, I think, where my head got the image from.
And then did he sell it in flakes?
No,
You know, like a
no.
box?
No, you would melt this, you would melt it down
Oh,
and then
okay.
mix it with other ingredients and then make the bar of soap.
Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, he's taking a bar of soap and he's grating it like cheese. Now, usually it's some aspect of transformation, you know, to do some kind of a alchemical work of transformation. But in this case, it has to do with he's going to make an image. You know, you can say he takes a picture, but he's going to make an image. And what he does, and that was very helpful to tell us that, Dawn, is that this was something that a masculine figure in Dawn's life used as the prima materia for almost like an alchemical thing that he was doing, you know, which in this case was making, yeah, I have a cousin that makes fancy soaps in Colorado, sells them. But anyway, this actually has to do with, now my original thought before you told me that was it had something to do with the cleansing aspect. You needed to have a pure something that would clean and to make the image. But that is this initial statement, which hangs over the rest of the dream. So that we need to take an image. Okay. Now the images are going to follow. Okay. We see an image that is like the picture with the movie E.T., a boy on his bike in front of the moon. Okay. Who, you know, the moon is the mother. The boy is the growing animus spiritual aspect of Dawn. Okay. So he's connected with the mother. The boy is connected with the moon. Okay. Now, not with the sun, with the moon. Now, words go with the image and they are flying between two bridges. Okay. Now, Jung said one time, there is no such thing as a one-way bridge. You need two bridges.
Oh.
You need a bridge. What he meant was we don't just get dreams sent to us from the unconscious. We relate to the unconscious. So it's a flow of two bridges. You know, one is the unconscious relating to us. The other is us, regardless of how unconscious we are of the dream aspect. Of relating to the unconscious just by being conscious of the dream is one aspect. You know, if you were that flippant about it. But there's two bridges. It's not just one bridge. And it's not just a bridge between two places. Now, the thing I was thinking is that you don't have two-lane bridges in the unconscious. You have a bridge that everything goes one way. And then you have another bridge where everything comes back, you know. And so now the animus, this boy animus or the divine child or something is, you know, the anima is the bridge to the self, the bridge to, okay, what is it? The self. The self is our root, our inner rudder. It is the messages of how we are to flower. Now, the whole idea of ego consciousness is to get the message and to be in service to the flowering and not to be willful and ignore it, you know. So the animus is like Hermes, Mercurius. He can fly between the bridges. One bridge goes through the unconscious, the other comes back. It's not like a bridge between two places. It's the flow of opposites. You know, the flow of ego to the unconscious, the flow of the unconscious to ego. Okay, so then after waking, I had trouble remembering this because the opposite is what made sense, traveling a bridge between two places. But I think you got it, Dawn. I think that was what it was meant to say. Okay, that's image number one. Image number two, I felt that, and all comes from the soap master, okay? Next image, I felt like I was, was related to the bike in front of the moon image, but it was of two socks being folded into one another. Now, this is a real riddle, and I want all you riddle solvers to figure out what it is, okay? Now, what it really means is you have one sock, which is a receptive area, okay? A receptive area for the foot. And you're going to take the two receptive areas, you're going to make one, you're going to put your hand in the sock. Now, I don't know what folded over means exactly. Dawn, do you do that and when you do laundry? Do you fold the socks together?
Yeah.
And how do you, what you do is you put one sock in the other and then you pull the top up and sort of make a little sack for it. And so it's a little package like that, right?
It's funny that you've never done it before to me. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Well, I only know that because my wife does it. I would never do that if I was by myself. But anyway, so what does that riddle mean? I mean, that we're taking the 2 feet and we're making them one. So I think what it is, we're taking a pair of things and we're making one thing. Okay. So the images, the first image was the bridge. There needs to be a bridge that goes to the unconscious and a bridge that comes from the unconscious to us. And then the second image is through that we make, through those 2 things being paired and folded up together, we become one. Now that's why I say this dream is almost about the universe. It's not really just about ourselves. This is, I mean, just about you. I mean, it's just a beautiful. Now, those are the 2 images. Okay, there's the image of the bridge, the 2 bridges, and the Hermes, the child, our animus within us, flies between them. The second image is because of our consciousness of the 2 bridges, a pair of things can become one. And a pair of socks is about the most, and see, the pair of socks go together better than the pair of the man and the woman. I mean, because you don't have all that unbelievable tension. There is no tension between 2 socks. So maybe somebody can come up with what that means too. I mean, other than ones, I don't even think they make left socks and right socks. You know, when my grandfather was a little boy, they didn't make left shoes and right shoes. You know, I mean, that was started in the Civil War, or right before the Civil War, they started making left shoes and right shoes. Before that, you had kind of a stocking, like a mukluk. You know, I think that's what the Eskimos called them, a mukluk, because they didn't make shoes for left and right. So anyway, there's not a lot of tension. I'm going off on a tangent here. That's the end. Now the father comes in, okay? Now it isn't our real father. I think this is just father image. Now, this is that guy in the dream about the pit, you know, and he asks us questions, and normally we could answer the question easily, but for some reason our ability to respond has been crippled. You know, in other words, we understand the question, but we have to struggle to think of an answer. Okay, the first one was, what what we have to drink. What do you have to give the the uh, the the paternal aspect in us? What can you offer him as far as I think the what's the symbolic meaning of drink? You know, this is it's our blood or whatever. When you have a lot of dreams about blood, but I mean I think it just has some aspect to do with the fluid essence of being alive. And what you have is strawberry tea, lemonade juice. And you just come up with fragments. You don't have the full name. But anyway, there's sort of an inability to articulate ourselves. Okay, that's the first question. Then the second question had to do with the first question was with articulation. The second question is with hearing. Why do you wear headphones all the time? And again, we can't really think of an answer. And we don't give an answer, really. And so what happens then is we sort of, the paternal just seems to disappear, okay, after those two questions. And then I think this last part is not sure the father is present at that point. I'm starting to wake and my mind is asking me what I did the whole day before. What did I do the day before? I mean, I'm almost wondering, was this in the dream, Dawn, or had you woken up by that time? Oh, you're trying to summon your conscious mind into the dream. Okay. Yes. Okay. I told him it helps me focus, but I didn't put it in the dream because I didn't know the right words. Yeah. Okay. I think the thing is, at that point, you were trying to do what Roy does, put your conscious mind into the dream. And so you were connecting it with what did I do the day before? And I realized I'd been cleaning, but it wasn't an easy answer to come out. So that does, okay. So I'm just going to review it real quick. Okay. First is the image maker tells us how he does the image, and it has something to do with creating this magical gratings of soap. So the magician imager maker has begun his work. He sends us two images. So first of all, it's sort of like seeing the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. Don't pay any attention to that man behind the curtain there, but it's sort of telling us that he's going to make images. And the first image has to do with the two bridges, the bridge that comes to us, the bridge that goes to the unconscious, and to nature, okay? And then the second one is, again, is related to the mother, too. We're missing the mother. And it has to do with a pair of things becoming one. And then the second is this inability to articulate in front of the paternal presence. What do you think, Roy?
No. Oh, excuse me. Wow. You're right. Okay. Yeah. It's something here. The two bridges, two places, the two socks inside each other, the kid and the bike and the moon, the juxtaposition of E.T., the kid on the bike and the moon. It's almost like this cognitive dissonance. She has this cognitive dissonance between two things. She's caught between two things. And the father could represent the logos. He's trying to get her to articulate, asking her simple questions, words to articulate. She's caught between two things in like this cognitive dissonance. And the logos is trying to get her to communicate using words to articulate. You know, I'm picking up stuff like that.
It's very good, Roy. That's wonderful. I mean, I didn't think of that. It is the logos wanting us to come up with the logos words, we're not necessarily into that. What do you think, Gary? I mean, let's say it's not an inadequacy in us. It's just that not our nature. He's supposed to provide the words, not us. What do you think, Gary?
Well, it kind of goes along with what you've been saying, and Roy too, but the dad asking what I have to drink. To drink is to absorb, to take it in. And so, he's asking, I think he's asking it metaphorically, and she responds in a literal sense. And the reason she responds in a literal sense is that she's still trying to get back to consciousness. So it's like, she can barely even hear the question, let alone, understand deeper implications. So Ben,
what about the first half of the dream? What do you think about that?
yeah, I kind of, I thought what you said about the images, the dream master forming the images. I think I commented last time on the guy shaving the soap with, like it was grated cheese. Well, what do we do with soap? Soap goes right on our skin. This is the sensate. This is the feeling,
Oh, yes.
and so,
Sensate substance.
Yeah, this was not, this was something that she needed to, in order to connect with the images, this was not a mental activity. This is like, one of those psychedelic journeys. And then when you're done with it, you have to come back and relate to it. You have to absorb it, as the father is saying, like, what do you have to drink? Like, what can you get out of this? But yeah, I mean, the whole, think about this. When E.T. in that movie, when he's stuck here, he's dying, he's starting to lack aliveness, and he really shows it. And yet when he's on the bike and he rides in front of the moon and he takes off, the aliveness comes back. And I think this is saying that Don's way to that is through the feeling function. That's the way to the images. And then the question is, how do you bring it back?
That drink is a very important question. I mean, it's right now, I don't think we're understanding it, but it is very important. What do you think, Tim?
I'm looking at the whole thing as being a struggle to communicate using the cognitive brain. What I feel is Don is really inhabiting the body, and the body has no language for some of this stuff. And so, of course, there's confusion because so much of life cannot be described. It's just totally sensuous. And I'm also racking my brain on the four libations. I'm thinking of strawberry being red, lemon is yellow, tea is black, and what is the juice? It would be, in alchemy, it would be white, but maybe that's asking a question. So there's the rubedo and the negredo, those parts of the process of coming to terms with this experience of being alive. That's kind of what I've been.
The lemonade is the color of the gold, and the strawberry is the color of the blood, or the rubedo. The tea is the fermented, somewhat of a fermented drink. And the juice, I think you're right, is going to be like the soma or something. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Did you have anything more on it, Tim?
No, the rest
Okay.
you guys really nailed, I think.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, we're gonna have to, I don't think we pulled it all together yet, but what do you think, Charles?
I don't know. I think I just think it's kind of cool and interesting of this the ET boy and alien being there. So Don, does the ET boy have the alien with him in his bike basket? Just curious.
Oh, yeah, he had the ET in the basket.
hmm
Uh,
I mean, in the movie, I'm just curious
Yeah.
if that is the case in the dream.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would say the biggest thing that caught my attention in the picture would have been the moon. Next after that, the boy, and then I'm not so sure. I assume he was because that's what it was a picture of, but I didn't like see it exactly. I didn't pay attention. I don't know.
I just think that's a cool image because it makes me think of like that like the animus going between the two worlds and carrying this alien. You have something very foreign from the inner world that's totally different to the ego world. I just think that's a cool image. This carrier of what is completely different and foreign to ego, flying across the bridges. I don't really have a whole lot I don't have much deciphering or meaning to add to it. I just think the image is cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting out of it, is that first part of it is just absolutely universal. I mean, you've got this boy who is allied with the moon. Everywhere he goes, his halo is the moon. So it's the mother. So he's sort of the child of the mother. And he is linked. He's an image that's produced by this magician in the first place. So the one who's producing the image is the dream maker. Right? We're really seeing him. Okay, but let's forget about that for a second. But even though it's beautiful, but I think it's got some important point. But then he presents us with two images. One it's actually three images. One is the idea of the boy who is allied with the moon. The second one are the two bridges. One that Jung says there's no such thing as a bridge that just goes from the unconscious to our ego. There's also a dream that goes from our ego to the unconscious. And those two bridges, which are normally just empty, are Hermes, the Hermes child who's allied with the moon, flies about them, flies between them, and so he fills the bridges with the energy of Hermes. And Hermes is the messenger between two worlds. And he's also the animus too. So he's this aspect of, and he flies, okay? Hermes flies. He's got wings on his feet, okay? He flies like Peter Pan, or something. And he is this, so you've got the bridges between, you've got these static bridges between one coming from the unconscious to us, one going from the ego to the unconscious, and the whole thing is surrounded by two things: the moon, the light of the lunar world, and her child, Hermes, you know, and they so that's our that they are floating around this communication between the dream and us and the dream. Okay, that's number one image. Number two image is that through that two become one, you and your the wisdom of nature become one. You know, the socks fold into each other at that point. Okay, now that let's put that up on the shelf for a second. You know, that's the first part of the dream. Now, but from this the next aspect of it is this what was it, Gary or Tim, I can't remember who said the logos comes. Oh no, it's Roy, I think, that said that. I don't remember. I'm sorry. But the logos comes and he starts to ask us questions. But when he's asking us, at this point, our relationship with the paternal realm, and this would be like my relationship with the maternal realm. I have a very difficult relationship with the maternal realm, and Dawn is having a little difficulty in the dream with the paternal realm, and it isn't. First of all, the drink he's offering, he wants some kind of a. He wants to get like Gary said, it was a rhetorical question. What do you have to drink? You know, and we can't really answer. Finally, we answer in alchemical colors, like Tim says. You know, point one. Second point is, you know, what Dionysus tells the girl that's stranded on the island. Thou hast small ears, but thou hast mine ears. Put a cunning word in. I am thy labyrinth. That's what he told her in her headphones. Dionysus told her, you know, but why do you wear headphones? Now that's a very interesting question from the dream maker, and from and the fact that we can't really answer it, but we wear headphones to either hear music or to we're on some kind of a phone call or something, you know.
You know,
But,
it's
go ahead,
I've
Gary.
got a comment to make on that, because the headphones, you know, you see all these, and I'm going to do this from just seeing people walking around, like at, you know, the lake, or, you know, it's a disconnect from what's around them. You know, it's like they are no longer present. They're gone.
Little world.
So
They're in their own
again, it's kind of a rhetorical question. It's like, you know, why are you doing this disconnect? You know, what are, and it's, I think that's the question.
Well, we better wrap it up. We've got to do Tim's stream here. But Dawn, did you have any comments on it? And we can kind of finish up too next time if anybody's got any more thoughts. But Dawn, did you have any final comments on it? Or not? You don't have to say anything. But, so it, yeah, it just helps me block things out. Yeah, that's what that you nailed it, Tim. Well, anyway, let's mull this one over, and I think I'll have some more thoughts to say about it. But why don't we get into Tim's dream, because I'm
sure. I've got one here that I'm eager to
yes
share, particularly because it's so parallel to Charles and Roy both.
yeah okay.
Because
I'm sorry we're not over.
It's got animals
Okay.
and a hamster.
Okay,
or
great.
hamsters.
All right, well, why don't you read it here, and we'll.
It's called Sudden Livestock. I'm in my studio, surrounded by family and friends with lots of activity, but I'm very busy with deadlines looming. I go downstairs for something and realize that one of my friends has brought in a couple of dogs and a pair of mice or hamsters, I'm pretty sure it was hamsters, who just had a litter of babies. I'm horrified because they've been here for a day or more, but nobody has fed or watered them. I take them all upstairs, and suddenly they are my new top priority. nobody seems to be of any help.
Okay, well, great. This is a great dream. And you know, really, Tim, I am so taken by the form of your dreams lately, elemental and have to do with the instincts.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, and sudden livestock. That's a beautiful title. We're in the studio surrounded by families and friends. So like Roy was surrounded by animals. You're surrounded by the community with lots of activity, but I'm very busy with deadlines looming. So there's a lot of community around us, you know, and this is sort of a little bit different than Roy's always surrounded by the animals. You're surrounded by people. Okay, but is that what you should be doing? You know, we're very busy with deadlines looming. There's a lot of work to do. I go downstairs for something and realize that one of my friends has brought in a couple dogs, a pair of mice or a hamster who just had a litter of babies. I'm horrified because they have been here for a day or more, but nobody has fed or watered them. Ugh, this is a dream I have all the time. Okay, the instincts, our bodies are not being fed and watered. They are emaciated and dying of thirst. Okay, and in Roy's case, they were sinking into the you know, to the soulless river at the place of childhood. Now, I take them all upstairs, and suddenly they are my new top priority. The instincts are a new top priority. Nobody seems to be any help. We have to do it ourselves. Oh my God, this is very important. What do you think, Roy?
Oh, wow, it doesn't seem like these animals are his.
No,
Doesn't
that's
seem like any of these problems are his. I mean, he's got a deadline. Is that his? And he has all these people there. Is that his? This guy comes over. He's got all these animals. Are they his? But it's his top priority. He feels like he's going to the only one that's going to be able to deal with this. No help. You know, that's
Yeah,
sort of bizarre. It's very different than me, my predicament.
well, yeah. I mean, what I would say is this is there often is a problem of ownership or who brought this or who brought that. But I think that is sort of typical in dreams where we're not the master in our own house. Okay, you know, somebody we find, and by the way, where did we find them? We went downstairs, didn't we?
Yeah.
I go downstairs. Yeah, so we go down into the body. We go down into the body, and there we find the instincts. Somebody put them there. The ego doesn't know anything about it. Well, who would have put them there if it wasn't the ego? You know, I mean, all these friends and family, they're in us too. You know, I mean, these are these are little daemons and gods within us. But somebody, and it was actually Mother Nature, put these instincts in the lower area, and no one has watered them or fed them. Now, what is our top priority? I mean, this to me is such a wonderful contrast to trying to unsuccessfully connect with the feminine. To now we are or let's say it's just hit or miss with the feminine. No, I don't mean unsuccessfully, but in this case, it is we now have a little child to nurture in us, and that is the dog and the mice and the young mice. Now there were just a pair of mice or hamsters who had a litter of babies. So now they have become our top priority. The most important thing in our life is what we found downstairs, and it's the instinctive quality in us. Now, all I'm saying is this is the dream I have all the time. What do you think, Gary?
Well, I'm going to take a little different approach. You know, to me, it's like, you know, he's surrounded by family and friends, lots of activity, but these are like the daily distractions. You know, he goes into his unconscious, into, you know, the inferior function, and he finds the, you know, the spirit animals that need his care, that are, you know, suffering neglect, you know, just like your starving dog, you know, and then he brings them up. But now he finds that, you know, all these distractions of family and friends, you know, they're not there for the spirit animal. They're elsewhere, you know, they're not going to be of any help with this at all, because you know, this is our work, but it's not someone else's work. That's how I read it.
Tending to the instinctive aspects of ourselves have become our top priority. I mean, is you know, we just walk around all the time without paying any attention to the instinctive aspect in ourselves. Yeah, in my case, I just saying that's all I ever dream about is I mean, here is my dream a while ago. I was at the meat market, and there's these incredible rich meats from all over the world, and in the midst of this incredible scene, this magical gazelle with incredible red tufts appears. You know, the helpers were elfish old men. I asked where the old wild bird store. They said it was moved long ago, something I knew very well. Well, anyway, I mean, the aspect, I mean, I have not seen this in your dreams before, Tim, other than in the one about the fox being eaten by the wolf, and all the buffaloes and bisons or whatever were there as well. But this is so these elemental dreams are coming up. Are they the result of the initiation of the anima dreams and where they ended up, and the dream about the tower being lowered into the earth? Okay. You know, this masculine tower, and then the dolmens too. I mean, there's this aspect of this elemental aspect. What do you think, Charles?
I don't know, it just makes me think of like something, just kind of a natural, instinctual part of personality that like your social environment has not been at all encouraging towards or supportive towards. And it's something that's totally outside of what, it's totally outside of your set of behaviors and utilized parts of your personality, totally outside of what you use in your social life and in your work life. And something that you have to develop from a little like baby starting point, totally by yourself. I don't know exactly what it would be, but it's just what I get from it.
Well, you have these dreams all the time, Charles, where you have to tend an instinctive quality. What do you think, Tim? I mean, it's just such a beautiful but unusual dream from the pattern that we've seen. What do you think of it? Now, remember, you're too busy, surrounded by people, so it seems it's all this distractions. You descend, suddenly you find something. There's no distractions anymore. We've got a new top priority.
Well, I'm really responding to what Charles just said. it feels right that there's something about it that is outside the social scope. And obviously, nobody can help me with those because those are my instincts. They're things that have been ignored. And my first thought is, well, somebody else brought these in because I didn't bring them here. But as soon as I take them upstairs, then all of a sudden, you know, nothing else
You own
matters.
them.
This really has to be taken care of because it's a life and death situation.
You own it. I mean, you own the life and death situation.
Yeah.
Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. You know, and I mean, I would say that it is once you brought and it doesn't matter who brought them. You own them now. I mean, you're not if nobody there's nobody there to help, and it has to do with you. I mean, because this is you now have you know. I mean, in other words, let's say you let them die. You just said, well, they're not mine. And you were horrified that they hadn't been fed. Well, they're not mine. You know, maybe I'll come back a few days and see if they're dead. You know, is that what we're going to do? You know, I mean, we had a possum caught in our basement well, which is very deep. You know, I mean, the window well. And, you know, I bet it's, you know, it's probably 5 feet deep and I can't get down there. And there's a possum trap down there. So I just put a big beam in there and hoped he could crawl up it. So I hadn't been there for a couple of days and I said, well, I better go look, see if his carcass is in there. And he did get out. But I think, now, what is the instinctive aspect in us? What I mean, this has not come up before. It's all been about the feminine in us, which is somewhat of the feeling, function, and the eros. Now, this is about your own nature. Now, doesn't that just make I mean, it made me, just when I said it, it makes my, I can feel my cellular activity saying thank you. You know, I mean, this is when Gary, when you talk about aliveness all the time, what you're talking about is the life force. Okay, so this is the life force, and the life force is we need to have a religious relationship with it because it's the wisdom that shaped our bodies. What do you think about that? What what do you think the dog and the young nascent beings have to do with your what you said? What Charles said is true. And let me say this: that's why I could never be an analyst, because that's all I care about. I don't want to hear about the outer world. I want to hear about. I guess it is really elemental. I mean, to me, the whole thing. Roy, what do you think about the natural world or your
Well,
relationship?
he's rescuing animals like I was. That's definitely a very good thing. And I would definitely put it top priority too. And that's really good. And Tim just has to get in touch with what's that a metaphor for him. You know, which the metaphor.
The sensate function, the door to the
No,
unconscious.
I'm thinking something of much more personal to him. Like, you know, for me, rescuing the animals is something very personal. It's not some abstract symbol. It has to be numinous. It's not going to be numinous unless it's really personal and really relates to something in him. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, Tim, do you want to have a few words? We're going to have to finish this next time, but I tell you, if I can sleep on it, I know I can. We can. I think I'll always sleep. What do you think, Gary? I mean, Tim.
Yeah, I think we're onto it. It does feel like it's directed at a really personal thing. you know, something having to do with taking care of the flesh you know, usually I kind of treat that whole aspect as automatic. Oh yeah, time to eat and time to exercise, and you know, it's just all very, very automatic. But something has to be paid attention to, and so that's gonna require
Yeah.
some concentration, some
It's
meditation.
probably not the literal aspect either, though. It's a wordless relationship with the mystery of the life force within.
You know, the really good part about this one, though, is the connections there. You have it. You bring it upstairs. It's in the consciousness. Whereas in the other dreams, you know, there was that disconnect with the women. You know, you couldn't you couldn't make the connection.
It's too subtle, too much tension. There's no tension here. Okay, this is a rescue operation, pure and simple. You know. Well, let's finish this up next time, Tim. But I mean, we got to spend at least another 20 minutes on it. You know. And thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Roy. And I enjoyed every dream too, very much. I'm not completely enjoying Tim's dream yet because we're only halfway through. So we'll get it done. Okay, well, thanks,
right.
Roy and Gary, Tim and Charles and Dawn, especially. Thank you for that dream. Bring another one.
All right.
So
Take
you
care.
too, Gary.
I,
See you guys later.